Hello, Apes crew. It's Kara Lenorovitz, and it is our 16th week of segment 2 and one of our very last weeks of the entire year of this journey that we've had together. So let's jump right in terms of what's in store for you. Housekeeping wise, you know to use the weekly learning plan as a resource. And I would remind you that the weekly learning plans of past can also be a helpful resource as you are preparing for closing out this year and getting ready for your College Board exam as well. So remember, there are lots of good resources tucked into those weekly learning plans that could still be helpful to you. We are going to get together as a full crew this Thursday, the 20th, at our usual time from 8:30 to 9:15. We'll be doing a little bit of review, a little bit of talking about the Segment 2 exam, a little bit of talking about the College Board exam, and all importantly, the closure of our class working together as a community. So I look forward to having you there. In terms of office hours, they will remain the same this week. Tuesday from 8:30 to 10:30 in the morning, Wednesday afternoon from 1 to 3. I will forewarn you that there are a lot of students who have done some advanced reservations. So know that if you want to make sure you're getting in there, that you do so earlier in the week, just to make sure you've got a time available. Of course, I'm happy to check in with you via email too if one of those times does not work for you. And in terms of upcoming stuff, definitely hang in there. This week, no new content. This is about digging in, reviewing, and getting yourself ready for showing off all that you know and all you've learned this year, and hopefully tying together some connections from lots of topics. In terms of coursework, absolutely do make sure you're going back and scrutinizing, looking in that grade book, and make sure for anything that might be in there as a 0. Remember that 0 is a placeholder up until very soon. So make sure if you have work that's still hanging out there from modules 6, 7, 8, or 9 from segment 2, that work can still be turned in for a grade as long as it's submitted before May 21st. The reason for that time frame is, one, to make sure that I have enough time to evaluate it and get you feedback so that feedback is still useful to you as you're getting ready for your exams. And two, to make sure that those grades are complete before your VTVLC grades close and need to be sent off to your sending school. May 28th is the deadline for any remaining segment 2 work for module 10 through to the end. So hopefully you're setting yourself up, one, so that you don't have a big load of work to do as you're getting ready for that College Board exam, or as you're getting ready to close things down and start to set your view on your horizon just beyond high school for many of you, or into next year. So let's take a look at that visually. This is it, 2 weeks, this week and next week, that we're going to be together for VTVLC for our classroom community. So here we are on Monday heading into this week. We will have our regular synchronous session on Thursday the 20th. Again, reminder that deadline for 6, 7, and 8, and 9 module work is coming up this Friday, May 21st. The following week, on Monday, your final exam, your segment 2 exam, will be made available. We'll talk about that in just a second. You'll have all week to work on that. For those of you who are taking the College Board exam, I know that our first scheduled one is coming up on Thursday, May 27th. We will likely not have a formal class meeting that day. I will get your input for that on Thursday of this week, but I will make sure that I am available. For those of you taking that exam, make sure you check in with your schools about when you need to show up and where. And then again, the deadline for any Module 10 work and for your final exam is going to be Friday the 28th, which means your Memorial Day weekend is going to be lovely and relaxing and a way to celebrate all you've accomplished this year. All right, so that College Board exam info, again, it's going to be different and unique for each of you. Make sure you are reaching out to your school's College Board coordinator so that you know exactly what resources you need to have, whether that's technology or hard copy stuff, that you know exactly where you need to show up and exactly what time. Regardless of when you're taking it, it's all going to be the same length, 3 hours. The structure will all be the same. The first part is going to be 90 minutes for 80 multiple choice questions. The second part will be 70 minutes for 3 free response questions. You've been doing lots of practice with those formats all throughout this year, so you should be ready and familiar with that. Again, a reminder, and this is linked on the homepage as well, the AP Daily Live Review, which is all now recorded. Those sessions are available, and they are an excellent video way to review the content, the comprehensive content from throughout the whole year. So I really encourage you to use those. Even if you are not taking that College Board exam, I think they're a really good way to do a comprehensive review from the year. All right, other things. AP Classroom is also an outstanding resource. I know that many of you are in there, but maybe not all. If you haven't yet joined, I would encourage you to do that because I would like to make a practice exam available to you. And in order for that to happen, you need to have an account to access it. So if you haven't done that for some reason so far, please do so. I also want to remind you that that additional AP Environmental Science textbook that we have available online is also an outstanding resource that could be another really good tool for reviewing, particularly if there was concept or content that you were a little unsure of initially. Getting another perspective on it can be really, really helpful. I will also say the content in this one has been updated. It was published in, I think, 2019. So it's a little bit more current than the Canvas curriculum textbook that we've been using. All right, so what is it that's in store for you this week? Two things: studying and then attending class. So make sure you're using your time well for the studying part. A little bit at a time over more time is much, much better in terms of how our brains work. It allows you to take in information. It allows you to refresh your memory and rebuild those connections. And then when you are taking the exam, you're going to be able to more calmly access those things that you already know and apply them in a really good way. And then, of course, we'll get together as a class on Thursday, knowing that we represent just a small subset of the entire human population, and we're thinking about everybody when we're thinking about environmental science. So let's look at our homepage and then jump into our weekly. All right, short stop on our homepage. I just wanted to remind you of a couple of resources linked here. One is a link to find out more about your Segment 2 exam. We'll look at that document in just a moment. The other is, again, another link to those AP Daily Live review sessions. Again, a very good resource that's there for you. In terms of the topic review sheet, you got something similar to this for Segment 1. You're going to see information here about the exam availability, how much time you will need, the deadline for completing it, the exam weight. So it does, combined with your Segment 1 exam, represents 20% of your overall year-long grade. So it's a really good opportunity to hit it home and finish the way that you'd like to finish. Some information about structure, some possible review strategies, and resources available. Just like I did for Segment 1, I have released for you one version of each of the free response questions that you're going to be answering on the test. It is not the exact question, but it is very, 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 can I emphasize enough, very similar to the ones that are on the exam. So you can and should use these for practice. Below that, you will also find all of the learning objectives from the modules that we've covered during Segment 2. So those are listed for you first. And this exam will heavily focus on Segment 2. Below that, you will find all of the compiled learning objectives from Segment 1. The big ideas from Segment 1 will definitely be on our Segment 2 exam as well. For those of you taking the College Board exam, it's going to cover all of these. So I thought it might be helpful to have them all in one place. All right. In terms of this week's learning plan, very short introduction. You'll notice there are no new learning objectives. In terms of communication and pacing, you know the deal there. Just a reminder again to pay attention to those upcoming deadlines so that you can finish as strongly as possible. And then your to-do list, you really only have two jobs. One is to continue to work to review on your own. The second is to attend class. So make sure you're tackling both of those and giving your good attention there. Office hours, again, are going to be the same as they have been. Helpful resources are there, and the upcoming stuff, you know what's coming your way. Segment 2 exam and the College Board exam. So you know what to do there. Let's jump back for our... All right, here you go. Continue your review process. If you're behind pace, this is the time where you've got to do that catch up. Make sure you're attending class on Thursday. And if you need help or you want to touch base, please do reach out. I am happy to touch base with you and help you work through the challenges that are there. I look forward to seeing you one last time together this Thursday, and I hope you have a great week.